So everybody, I'm here and you can barely see me because I am here at the Cheshire Canal Trail, or the Farmington Canal Trail in Cheshire, Connecticut. And I'm gonna do something today that's gonna kind of freak you out. Instead of in my house, I'm doing an unboxing right here in my car. I got something new yesterday and let's take a look. Whoa, here it is. Here it is. Open the box. Whoa, there's paper. Again, paper. Let's just throw that paper out. I don't know why I'm talking so low because, hey, I'm here. It's not in the house. People aren't sleeping. Let's open that up and look at that. Ooh, awesome new colorway. I like this. This is the Gel-Kayano 29 from ASICS. Look at this shoe. Really, really nice. Oh, look at this upper. Look at this colorway. I hear this shoe is supposed to be really, really good. So I got it in the mail yesterday and I am, let's see, can you see me? I don't know if you can see me. We're going to take this shoe out on a 17-mile long run today. 17-mile long run. So really looking forward to it. So the first run in the ASICS Gel-Kayano 29 was a 17-mile long run. That was pretty darn risky. In fact, I did my unboxing video right there at the trail before that long run. So without further ado, let's get out on the trail for that first run. So I'm almost 4 miles in to my Sunday 17-miler. First run in the new Gel-Kayano 29s from ASICS. Update to the venerable Gel-Kayano series. First mile, I was a little worried. First mile, they felt a little clunky, a little slappy. Felt like I had a little too much room in the toe box. I wasn't really sure. But after a mile, we kind of settled in, warmed up, become more supple. Cushioning starting to kick in. So far so good. I'm almost 4 miles in. I read a few early reviews where folks said they had some hot spots under the toes, a few different places. I haven't felt that so far. What I do notice though is they are pretty warm. It's in the mid 60s, but a bit humid. They are a bit warm, but we'll see how it goes. I wore some thinner socks today. Okay, just hit the turnaround point at 121. So that's 8.5 miles. So far so good. Only thing is, I am starting to get a little hot spot under my right big toe, which is kind of what some of the other early reviewers spoke about. So bears watching. I'm sure once my feet get used to the shoe and it gets broken in, shouldn't be a problem. But right now, hopefully it won't blisterize in the last half of this run today. Okay, everybody, I'm done my 17-mile Sunday long run. It's a real good run, except for a few little things. You know what? I was taking a big chance, taking the ASICS Gel-Kayano 29s out 17 miles on my very first run in them, and I did develop a hot spot underneath my right big toe. We'll have to see if it created a blister. I don't see any blood on the outside of the shoe, but you never know. Other than that, shoes were good. They were a little bit stiff. Shoes were a little bit clunky when I first started running, first mile or so, but I think that was just simply they needed to be broken in a little bit. They did settle in. They got, more flexible, a little more supple. That midsole started to work, and they were much more comfortable for the remainder of the run. So good first run in them. Hey everybody, welcome back to Old Man Van Running. Now I'm out here in my backyard. I'm not inside. I'm not in the Old Man Van Cave. I'm not in the Old Man Van Castle. I'm in back. I'm in the outdoors to give you my first impressions review of all new, well, it's all new because it's an update, the all new ASICS Gel-Kayano 29. So as you know, Old Man Van is in the middle of his Marine Corps marathon training block. I'm in week 10, almost done week 10, and it's really important that now that these long runs are getting really, really long, 19 tomorrow, 20 next week, and so on, it's really important to have a couple of good pairs of long distance trainers that have plenty of cushioning, save your legs, that you can just, crank out those long miles without beating yourself up. And that's right where the ASICS Gel-Kayano 29 comes in. I already have the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20, which I reviewed recently, and I needed a second pair of a long distance training shoe, and that's where the Gel-Kayano 29 comes in. So before we get into the details, I took the ASICS Gel-Kayano 29, very first run was 17 miles right out of the box. That was pretty risky, and I'm going to tell you, probably shouldn't have done that. It wasn't the shoe, it was the fact that I didn't have a chance to break the shoe in and get my feet used to it. Took it for a full 17 miles. I did get a hot spot under one of my toes. I did get a small blister under my right big toe, and some other reviewers have also mentioned a hot spot there. And I also had some groin issues as I got toward the later miles. I think that was due to the fact that this shoe was brand new, hadn't run in it, hadn't done anything in it, and just took it out there for 17 miles. So now, let's get into the numbers. First of all, again, I purchased this shoe through my favorite online retailer, Roadrunner Sports, and again, I don't get paid by them. They don't know that I'm even posting these videos, but I got really good deals. I always get a discount, so therefore, that's where I purchase my shoes from. The retail price for this shoe is $160. Again, similar to things like the Saucony Tempest, the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20. It seems like all of these daily trainers, these stability daily trainers these days, are right up around 160 big ones. Moving on to the weight. Now, the ASICS Gel-Kayano 28 was 10.9 ounces in a men's size 9. This year's version, the Gel-Kayano 29, was reduced down to 10.5 ounces in a men's size 9, which is, I guess, right around 299 grams. For the women out there, the Gel-Kayano 29 is 9.5 ounces in a women's 7.5, and that is 270 grams. So these aren't the heaviest shoes out there, and in fact, it's a little bit lighter than last year's version, so that's a good thing. So it's kind of right there in the sweet spot for daily trainers for these long run type of shoes. So now stack height. Now typically we measure stack height with the outsole and the midsole and the insole. And with those measurements, you have a stack height of 30 millimeters in the rear foot and 20 millimeters in the forefoot. However, on the ASICS site, they don't include the outsole, they don't include the insole, so they have it as 25 millimeters in the rear foot and 15 millimeters in the forefoot. Either way, that gives you a heel to toe drop of what? 10 millimeters. Now, you've heard me before, my favorite heel to toe drop is 8 millimeters. However, for those very, very long runs where your form starts to fall apart, you start to heel strike more, 10 millimeters is about the max that I will go. So on to the construction of the Gel-Kayano 29. First of all, with this upper. This upper is a stretch knit upper. It's not the engineered mesh that's in most of the running shoes that I've reviewed. It's pretty thick. I'm going to tell you right now, it's pretty thick. It's comfortable, it's luxurious, but it's pretty thick. And because it's pretty thick and you see the little holes here in the forefoot, it's not that breathable, I'm going to tell you right now. It's pretty warm on the foot. My first impression out there is that this is a little hot. And it's really going to do well when the weather gets colder, but on a real hot summer day, your foot is going to sweat a little bit. It's just going to happen. That being said, it's very comfortable. It stretches and conforms to your feet, and there's plenty of room in the toe box. Now, I will say it's a tad narrower than the 28, at least for me. I am getting a little bit of pressure right here on my little toe, but I didn't notice it once I got started. And again, the first run, I hadn't had a chance to wear the shoe and really break it in at all. There's not much in the way of overlays. In fact, there's no overlays here. You do have, again, there's a toe guard here underneath that upper, and that just protects the wear areas in the toe. There's really nothing in the way of overlays here except for the logo. So nothing really around the entire upper to add any structure to it. But I'm going to tell you, the shoe does not need that. If you move around to the back, you do have this IGS. It's kind of like a little bit of a plastic, but it's not a post. And you see here on the medial side, it's not a post. It simply adds a little bit structure around the heel counter. And in the heel counter is pretty firm, right? So it's got this IGS system around here. It's pretty firm, which is typical of a Stability Daily Trainer. And again, very comfortable, gives you really good lockdown. If you look at the heel and ankle collar, very well padded. If you recall my review of the Gel-Kayano 28, I said that was just like hugging your feet. It was luxuriously comfortable. No difference here in the Gel-Kayano 29. Just as padded, if not more. It's just really thick and luxurious. Real good heel lockdown. With the tongue, another very well padded tongue. Maybe a little more padded than Old Man Van typically likes, but again, it's a real comfortable tongue on here. And you know, the only difficulty that I have is making sure that I don't over tighten it and having to adjust a little bit to get a really good lockdown because of the thickness. But I haven't really had an issue with it so far. Next, you have the laces. You know, the shoe companies are really listening because, man, again, I got nice flat laces with no stretch, which is perfect for Old Man Van. Don't like stretchy or thick or round laces. Just don't like them. Have no problem getting a good lockdown with these laces. They stay tied once I get them tied. So really good job. And there is enough length. You know, they might be a little tad short, but I haven't had any problems being able to get these double knotted, which is what I like to do. When you go to the insole, the sock liners, 3D space construction, it kind of conforms to your feet. The idea around this sock liner is to have it gender specific. In any event, whatever it does, it's very comfortable, had no problems with it, fit really well. Again, the only problem that I did have, and I should mention this, is the hot spot under my right big toe. Whether or not that is going to be a long-term issue, we're going to have to see. But I did get a small blister under my big right toe. So now the fun stuff, the midsole. So ASICS has put two different types of midsole material into the Gel-Kayano 29. And in both cases, it's an upgrade from the 28. Like Saucony and the Tempest, ASICS has decided to move away from medial posts or those kind of obtrusive, intrusive, whatever you want to call it, stability features, and instead use two different density midsole materials to create a stable shoe. So first of all, the firmer material that creates the stability in the shoe. Right here, you can see the light truss system. This is a firmer midsole material that runs more so on the medial side, as you can see, right? Instead of a medial post, runs around to the lateral side. There's a little bit less on the lateral side. You have the typical gel pad there, which is smaller than in the Gel-Kayano 28. So whether it's really doing a heck of a lot now, who the heck knows? But in any event, then you have that material out here, right? This light truss material down towards the midfoot. There's less on the lateral side than there is on the medial side. That's similar to what Saucony did in the Saucony Tempest. Now, the real good part of the midsole that gives it some softness and gives it some springiness is the ASICS Flight Foam Blast Plus. It's an improvement to the original Flight Foam Blast. It's softer and it's springier. And it's throughout the midfoot and the forefoot. And it does run on the lateral side and the medial side around the heel. So you have underfoot, immediately underfoot, a layer of that Flight Foam Blast Plus, and then underneath that, in the rear foot more specifically, and then in the medial side of the midfoot, you've got that light truss firmer material that gives you the stability. I'm going to tell you, in the first run, I wasn't too sure if it was an improvement over the Gel-Kayano 28. In fact, it felt a little bit clunky when I first put the shoe on and started running with it. Well, I found as I got later into that run that it did start to soften up a little bit. It did seem to kind of settle in, be less clunky as I went through that run. In my second run, which was much shorter, it was a 4-mile easy pace run, it did feel like it started to loosen up a little bit. I think it takes a little while for this midsole material to get activated and broken in. Once I did that though, I did feel a little bit of responsiveness, but the jury's still out as to how much of an improvement the Flight Foam Blast Plus and the Light Truss system is over the Gel-Kayano 28. And lastly, the outsole. The outsole on the Gel-Kayano 29 is called AHAR Plus, whatever that means. All I know is in the Gel-Kayano 28, had no problems with the wear. It's a very durable outsole. Got well over 300 miles on those shoes without wearing through the outsole where I normally heel strike. And I don't anticipate having any problems with the Gel-Kayano 29. You do see what appear to be almost like flex screws. This shoe actually has a little bit of flexibility in the forefoot. It's not overly flexible, but there is a little bit there. But the ride is really smooth. They have adjusted a little bit here. You see how they've, right here, how they've beveled it up. So when you do heel strike, it's a smoother transition through toe off. You know, it's not the most responsive shoe in the world, and whether or not it's going to be more responsive as that midsole breaks in, can't really tell you yet. But I can tell you, it's a relatively smooth transition through toe off. You know, to me, this shoe is going to be a smooth cruiser, a shoe that, although it doesn't have the max stack height, it's got enough cushioning that you can use this shoe on the long runs, just like the ASICS Gel-Kayano 28. So I think this is really, really good long run, easy run shoe. I wouldn't say it's versatile. I wouldn't say it's a shoe that I would use for up-tempo days, but it's just a good stability shoe. Okay, so how do I rate the ASICS Gel-Kayano 29 on first impressions? Well, I'm going to give this shoe a 9.0 out of 10. A couple reasons why it's not higher. First of all, that hot spot and blister under my right big toe. I haven't experienced that on any of my other shoes, and I have read some reviews, and other people have experienced the same thing. Whether or not that's a break-in issue, we shall see, but I'm keeping it down at a 9.0 based on that. Additionally, it's a little warm, right? This stretch knit upper is really, really thick. Although it's extremely comfortable, it's pretty hot in there. So for those two reasons, I've taken this shoe from what would most likely be a 9.5 down to a 9.0. That can change. The more I run in this shoe, we shall see. So thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, remember, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, that's okay. You can hit thumbs down. But please, leave comments, positive, constructive criticism. The more comments I get, it helps my algorithm and helps me grow my channel. And make sure you subscribe to the Old Man Van Running channel. And if you do, hit that notification bell so you get notified when more videos are posted. And please, if you like it, tell your friends. Get more people to subscribe to the Old Man Van Running channel, and Old Man Van will be able to put more and better content on his channel. So thanks again for watching. And remember, lace up those shoes and let's get out on the roads.